Welcome to practice. In today's class, we'll be exploring concentration. Concentration on what one of my teachers calls the 5 allies. And he says, his name is David, and he says we have 5 allies that we can align with during our practice. The breath, the bandha, the drishti, the foundation, or the center line, the midline of the body. So we'll be exploring tethering to one of these allies as we move through the practice, so it becomes a moving meditation. To begin, you can come to child's pose. And while you're here, get acquainted with your ally. So whatever it was that you chose, what's touching the floor, a lift of the inner body through the work of bandha, the deep rhythmic breath, the center or midline, or where the eyes are resting. So trying on the ally here, kind of like putting on a comfortable jacket. And press down into shins and rise up to a table position, all fours. And take some baby cat-cow. So see if you can move just the lower part of your spine and the pelvis a little. So it's like little tick-tocks. When you inhale, belly drops down, sitting bones lift up. And when you exhale, there's the scooping of the belly in and back as the sitting bones draw down and together. And then begin to make this movement a little broader, so invite more of your spine into it. Perhaps leaving your neck and your head out of the equation for now. So just climbing up into that upper back, that shoulder blade area. Continuing with this cow-cat or flexion and extension movement. And then invite all of the spine to the dinner party. So begin to bring your head into the mix, creating that articulation into back bend as you inhale, and articulation into flexion as you exhale. And back and forth. And exhale, complete that rounding. And then go to long back or long spine position. Draw the shoulder blades down so they're along the sides of your rib cage. Tuck your toes under. Push your hips back in the direction of your heels. And really tuck the skin and the tissue of those toes underneath. Sinking the weight into the heels or towards the Achilles tendon. And just stretching the soles of the feet open. And you can stay here with arms extending in front of you. If you'd rather walk back and sit on your kneeling position, makes it a little bit more intense, but you're welcome to explore. And like relationship to ally here. And then shifting forward, grounding palms if they're not already. And then lifting up and back into your first downward facing dog. Move around a little bit so you kind of shake off. You can pedal, you can wag your tail, you can shake your head yes and no. So I'm thinking of my cat, and when anyone's here doing work on the house, or he freaks out and then he hides in the closet, and when he comes out of the closet, when he's no longer traumatized, he does a giant like weird shaking thing, and then he's fine, right? So he shakes it off. Do that here in your downward dog, and then come to a stillness in down dog. Tether to your ally, connect with your friend on this path of practice. And take breath all the way in. Exhale, walk up, feet to the hands. Heel toe your feet as wide as your outer hips and turn your heels in, your toes out. So inviting a little bit of external rotation into the hip joints. Soften the knees, almost like a little plie action. And then ragdoll, hang the upper body. So this feeling of pouring forth or pouring out. Keep the knees bent, let the arms go, keep your head dangling, and then slowly roll up to standing from here. Then take your feet to hips distance and do internal rotation. So that's toes in, heels out. Bend your knees a little bit. So it's going to be like a knock-kneed position. And then bow forward, ragdoll, hang there. So that different orientation of the thigh bones in the hip sockets. And bring hands back to hips. Root the feet in this weird internal rotation pattern. Push them, rise all the way up to standing. And then step into Tadasana, mountain pose. And connect with foundation or bandha, breath, central line, drishti. Find your ally. And a concentration on this ally as we move through Surya Namaskar A. Exhale completely. Keep the legs strong. Inhale, reach the arms, lift the eyes. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, step back. Keep exhaling, knees down, and then everything else. 3 cobras. Inhale, explore. Exhale, come back down. Again, the inhale is what lifts you. The exhale brings you forward and downward. Stay rooted where you can. One more. Inhale. And exhale. And tuck the toes. Can you inhale, plank? Push the ground out of the way. Exhale, hips rise. Downward facing dog. Take 4 breaths here. 1. 2. 3, and 4. Deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, crouch, look forward with your eyes. Inhale, step or jump. Keep inhaling and lengthen. Exhale and bow. Strong legs. Inhale, reach all the way. Exhaling back to mountain. Few more. Inhale, lift, curl. Exhale, hinge, fold. Inhale, extend, straightening. Exhale, stepping back and lowering, maybe knees or maybe hovering, chaturanga. One cobra or upward dog. Inhale, exhale, hips go back. Downward facing dog. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Deep breath in to prepare. Exhaling, get low and look. Inhale, bring the legs there. Lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise again. Exhale, back to mountain, equal standing. Hands to the hips, heel toe your feet to outer hips distance, more shoulders distance. Roll the collarbones open so the movement is shoulder blades move up, they move back, and they move slightly down. Inhale, chest and eyes lift. Exhale, hip hinge. Grab your big toes so you're wrapping your index and middle finger inside the big toe, then underneath it. Clamp your thumb on top of your big toenail. Bent knees or straight legs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Crown of the head releases gently in the direction of the floor. Elbows go slightly wide. Connecting to the ally. Sit bones moving either up high, like you could climb them up the wall behind you, or angling them down in the direction of your Achilles or your heels. So try that on and see what serves you best. Then use in-breath, straighten the arms so you kind of pull up on the toes, which creates traction for crown of head to reach forward. Exhale, slide your hands underneath your feet, so standing on your own palms. Let your toes press into your wrist crease, or your wrist creases. Lengthen in breath. Fold out breath. Again, the elbows go wide towards the sides of the yoga mat, and the head releasing. And you decide, how am I angling my sit bones? So forward folds, we say this opportunity to turn inward. They stretch the muscles of the back. They allow for the spinal nerves to be a little freer. They help us to tap into that rest and digest side of our autonomic nervous system. So this down regulation practice of forward folding. Exhale everything. Keep the hands where they are. Inhale, straighten the elbow joints. Crown of head moves forward. Exhale, hands to hips. And then inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Take a stance that's wide and open, using the length of your yoga mat. Turn your feet out really slightly, both of them, and then just do a bit of side to side motion. So keeping the hips externally rotated and then working with the knees bending. And as you're moving side to side, can you track the center of your knee in alignment with the second toe? So you're not allowing your knees to buckle inward so that they're not getting torqued at all. And then coming to straight legs, angle the left foot so it's slightly internally rotated. And then right toes, they point directly to the front edge of your yoga mat, or what is now the front edge of your yoga mat. And squeeze your legs so there's like a visible tone to the thighs. Reach the arms. Get a little taller so side body gets longer, almost like you just got lifted up off your own pelvis. And then inhale, reach away. Exhale into triangle pose. Bottom hand can be somewhere on shin, block, or ground, upper arm to the sky. And so you climb in this pose and you're in relationship to the ally, whatever your ally is for practice. And you create an experience. Then glance down with your eyes, bend your front knee, touch the floor, so hands on either side of that right foot. Spin your back heel so it lifts. Come into like a lunge, a set lunge stance. And then press down into the feet, give rise to the arms and upper spine, and take high lunge in this direction. Tailbones long like a hook, navels pulling back. Find your length. Then release, fingertips touch floor. Let the right hand or left hand receive the weight. Put it right under your shoulder. Push the ground out of the way, and then rotate open right arm to sky. Open-bodied twisting. And touch the floor, right hands. Turn your left foot all the way down. Line it up with the short side of your mat back there. Keep the depth of front lunge in the thigh and come to warrior two now, expanding out. Add that extending forward you found for Trikonasana, and then place yourself in extended side angle pose. It can be forearm to thigh or hand touching ground, top arm in that reach pattern. And extend your arm so when you reach a lot through that reaching arm, you'll feel the shoulder blade actually, it's not back and down, it's reaching away from you, like you could reach your arm forever out in that direction. And look down with the eyes. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, straightening the front leg. Turn your right foot in, turn your left toes forward. Firm the leg, so muscles to bones. Inhale, extend away. Exhale, Utthita Trikonasana, triangle, other side. Climb inside, get tethered. Have an experience. From here, glancing down, see the floor, touch the floor on either side of the front foot, so rotating towards the ground. And then create lunge stance, find your land legs, and come to high lunging. Leaning spine forward, releasing right hand to ground under shoulder. Push the ground out of the way. Turn and reach left arm up into this rotation. And then touch floor, left hand. Get your bearings, turn your right foot all the way down. Keep the depth of front thigh bone deep. Warrior two, rise up into it. So every new posture, every new shape that we take is a new opportunity to connect with the concentration point of the ally. And then transitioning to extended side angle, so extending underside of the body long, releasing hand to floor or forearm to thigh. When the top arm reaches, extend it. It's like a posture or an arm reach that expands out infinitely. Touch ground, right hand. Step back, downward facing dog pose. Stay in down dog or explore vinyasa. Let your breath carry you through. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down. Inhaling, stretch the front body. Exhale, fold hips up and back into downward facing dog. Then as slow as you breathe in a steady and non-swinging way, inhale, lift your right leg up. Raise your left heel as well. And then exhale, right knee pulls towards right elbow. Plant your right foot outside of your right hand. Lower the back knee to the ground. Untuck your toes back there. And create a feeling of your hips dropping. Almost like, I hate to use the word sag, but it's kind of the feeling. They're like sagging towards the floor. So you're totally in this passive stretch of left hip flexor. Chest reaches forward, chin reaches forward. Let's make this a little more interesting. Take your right arm long by your ear and start to slowly take your right arm out to the side. Rotate the palm up and then bring it back behind you without letting the back side of that hand rest against your back body. So we're doing this like shoulder swimmer if you've taken my mobility class. So you go from arm long by the ear, arm out to the side, rotate palm facing up, bend the elbow, kind of like you got in trouble. And then straighten back to the T, palm down, take it back long by the ear. One more time, from long by the ear, out to the side. Flip the wrist up, that's an internal rotation of your shoulder. Arm long by the side, bend the elbow, don't let the hand touch against your lower back or your mid back. And then reverse your way out, straighten the elbow, out to the side, palm down, reach the arm. Set that hand to the floor. Tuck your back toes under, step back, downward facing dog pose. Take a couple breaths here as a counter. And then use in-breath to lift your left leg up and back, raise your right heel. As you exhale, left knee towards left elbow, then plant the left foot outside of your hands. Lower the right knee down and untuck those toes back there. Create that feeling of the heaviness of the pelvis towards the floor. And then when you go chin, chest forward, allowing for that big opening across front side of the pelvis on the right. And then eye gaze moves down, so drishti sets down, so the neck is more neutrally positioned. Left arm long by the ear, and we start this movement of shoulder swimmer. So arm to the side, rotate palm up, bring the arm almost back behind you, bend your elbow, don't let your hand touch. Reverse your way out, straight elbow joint, arm to half T, palm down, sweep it long by the ear. You can make this fluid, or you can pause at all the different places, so it can be more staccato. But you're going from arm long by the ear, palm down, to arm off to the side, rotating palm up, then arm reaching back behind you, bending at the elbow joint, not letting the hand touch the body. One more time. You can make it fluid, or you can stop along each stage and just check it out. Then releasing left hand from long by the ear to the floor. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, step back, downward facing dog. And take a breath in, raise the right leg up and back behind you. As you exhale, bring the right foot forward and through between your hands. Turn your back foot all the way down, so you're setting the foundation of like warrior two. And then walk a little to the left. So you're going to walk a little bit inside of your right leg and walk away from yourself. And it's been eons since we've done this pose together. Warrior dog. So the upper body's extending like you're in down dog, while the lower body reps warrior two. This hybrid posture. And tethering to ally. And from here, can you walk your right hand inside of your right foot? Turn and reach your left arm open to the sky. Take a half bind, left arm behind you. You can stay in half bind, or you can take it into full bind, threading your right arm up and under to find your wrist or your hand, and exploring bound side angle pose. And while you're at it, exploring bound side angle, see about bound triangle or half bound triangle. So that's a pulling of the front leg to straight, right hip hugging under. Come back to bending the front knee, so you're back in the half bound or full bound side angle pose. Unwind, touch ground. Downward dog, step all the way back. Then use breath in, right leg lifts again. As you exhale, shin bone underneath you, pigeon prep. Edge the left leg back. If you'd like to grab a blocker blanket for underneath your right sitting bone, you can. Stay lifted. Reach back through the tips of those left toes, the length of your left leg like it's an alligator's tail. And then this is kind of an interesting variation I've been playing with. Walk over to the right. So you're going to turn your belly button towards your right knee and walk away from yourself over that way. So that extending of the arms and spine, kind of like downward dog or warrior dog. And then can you create like a rainbow where you walk across, you come through the center, but you don't stop there. You go way off to the left now, putting more weight into right hip crease and taking this askew pigeon pose. And bring it back through to the center. And when you arrive there, walk your hands back, lifting back towards that pigeon prep. Tuck your back toes under, push the ground out of the way, downward facing. Then use breath in, left leg goes high up and back behind. As you exhale, bring your left foot forward between your hands. Right foot turns down, so you're creating the base of warrior two. Walk out to the right and then away, off to the right, warrior dog. And I love this because you can push the floor out of the way and traction the spine so you create all that length. And then work that rotation, left thigh, turning out, sit bone turning under. Then bring it in so left hand is inside of left foot. Right arm to sky. So the beginnings of this bound side angle. Take it to half bind. That's right arm behind you. And maybe you're going to stick with that and thread the hand into your hip crease. Or perhaps you're going to cast left arm under and through, holding hands with yourself. And if you're there, see about, well, what about straightening the front leg and taking a bound version of, or half bound even version of this triangle pose. From half bound or fully bound Trikonasana, bend the front knee, unwind, touch ground. Downward dog, left leg steps. And take breath in, left leg high. And use your exhale to set the shin bone underneath you. Right leg moves back. Stay lifted, prop under the left hip if you need a little bit of support or height. And work reaching the tips of the right toes back while you curl up in the upper chest. The throat moves back. And then take a bit of rotation so the belly button turns towards left knee. Walk away from yourself, over in that direction. Walking away from right hip. And then bring yourself across. So it's kind of like a arc pattern across to the right. Hip travels, left hip moves back and under as you extend off in this right direction. And bringing it back through the center, stay low. And then walk the hands in so you give lift to the spine. take the leg that's behind you, bring it all the way around you, and set up Dandasana or staff pose. So legs extending forward and spine vertical. So spine vertical, let that be the thing that's most important in this pose. So if that means I can't do legs straight and have spine vertical, then do bent knees but spine vertical. Hands beside your hips, chin moves down, so we're creating Jalandhara Bandha, whether or not that is our ally, we create it together. And you connect to your ally in this posture of staff. Now lift chin so it's parallel to floor. Raise the arms, take breath in. Exhale, cast yourself out and over and down into Paschimottanasana or seated forward fold. You can take hold of the feet or lay the hands beside the legs on the mat. Maybe your eyes close. Once again, this turning inward, stretching all the muscle and tissue along the back plane. Use in-breath to lengthen and exhale to sit back up towards vertical spine. Now bend your knees so that the heels are down but the toes are up. And then reach forward, make a belly and thigh connection and hook around your big toes so that index and middle finger goes in between your big toe and your second toe. And then your thumb goes on your big toenail. Walk your heels in close to your butt. Create a little Navasana with your legs extending, chest lifted proud, chin slightly tilted up. Now you could stay here or you can start to extend the legs out on that high diagonal. Armpits pull back, chin and chest lift. So it's like a supported version of boat pose. You're balancing on that very back edge of your sit bones. Now, whether your knees are bent or your legs are straight, let go of your toes. See if you can keep your legs in their position. And now the arms are free. And our guts are holding us together. One more breath. As you exhale, release the legs and come back to sitting vertically. Step your right foot in so the heel is close to your butt bone. And then make sure you have some space between the inner edge of your right foot and the inner left thigh. And if you were to measure the distance of space, it'd be about a palm print. So you might want to take your left hand and just check that. Lean the weight into your left hand beside your left hip so you lean away from yourself. And I'll turn this way so you can see better. And then reach way forward with your right arm. And take it as far forward as you can. So you're going to try to get in front of this right leg. And squeeze the leg in, half bind, wrapping your arm around. You can stick with half or take it to full. Left arm reaches behind to hold hands with your right hand. And just like Paschimottanasana, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Use breath, elongate as you inhale. As you exhale, come all the way up and unbind. Extend right leg long, step left foot back. Make sure you have the distance between inner foot and inner thigh. Right hand outside of the hip, lean away, and then get way the heck in front of this left knee, reaching. So that side body gets so long. Squeeze the left knee in, left thigh in, and half bind it. Stay or full bind. And once you've assumed the position, the half or full, lengthen inhale, fold exhale. And then how is the allyship at play in this one? Take breath in, elongation of spine, and exhale, unwind, unbind. Extend your legs out, shake them a bit, and then put your hands behind you, just casually, leaning back. Open your legs like a little bit of a V, and just open, close, open, close. So internal, external rotation with the kind of swiftness. And then see that you have room, and if you don't, slide yourself forward and come all the way down onto your back. Bring your heels in close to your sit bones, arms by your side, and turn your hands so that you're on the pinky side of your hand, but the thumb side of your hand is pointing up. So you'll be on the outer line of your forearms. Negate any arch of your low back up away from the floor. So it might feel like tailbone tucking. It might feel like rib cage down. Take a couple breaths with the back, as much of the back pressing into the floor as you can muster. Not letting your glutes, not letting your butt lift off the ground though. So it's not that much of a dramatic tuck. Then begin to pull the heels toward your butt and see that the hamstrings, they fire. You'll feel it. Try to drag your feet towards your butt and you'll feel the back of your legs tone. Keep that. Push into the feet like you're pushing the floor out of the way. Lift up through the pelvis. Then push into the arms. Lift up through the spine, taking the spine into extension, finding bridge pose. Now you could interlace your hands behind you. That's a form of binding. Or you can keep your arms resting by your sides. Can you grow longer from sternum to pubic bone? Can you grow longer from the line of the collarbones over the front of your hips, out through the center of your knees? 2 more breaths. Then use in-breath, heels up, arms all the way overhead to separate the blades of your shoulders. And as you exhale, come down. Knees to the body, wrap the arms around the legs. Keep the legs gathered in tight and close. Open the arms wide. Drop both the legs to the left. Take your left hand and find your right knee crease from the outside. Give yourself a little manual assist as you twist upper body to the right, lower body to the left. Rotate head to center, so nose is pointing up to sky. Open arms wide like T. Legs stay close, thigh bones close to the rib cage as you take the legs to the right. Catch that top knee pit with the right hand. Draw yourself in as you turn upper body to the left. Bring the head to center. Extend the right arm like a T, lower body back around. Release the feet, take them for a walk all the way to that front edge of your mat. Extend your legs long. Slide your arms down more along the sides of your body. Forearms and palms rotated up. Closing your eyes and coming into the final pose, Shavasana. And just feel what it's like to be tethered to your ally here in Shavasana. So, feeling the foundation, what's touching the floor. Maybe the bandha, the lift of pelvic floor, the hollowing of the belly. Feeling breath. Access to the midline. And then the drishti, and even with eyes closed, there's a sensation to drishti. And then from that place of concentration on ally, bring awareness to the inside of the mouth. And separate the top and bottom row of teeth so you unhinge the jaw if it was tightly closed. Maybe running the tongue up into the upper palate, so you move from the back of the upper palate to the tongue pressing to the back side of the upper row of teeth. And then a relaxing of the tongue. A closing of the lips. Bring a softening to the muscles of the face, beginning at the chin. Softening around the mouth. Up into the cheeks. Relax around the eyes, those circular bones called the orbitals. Relax all the skin, muscle, and tissue around the orbital bones. The sockets of the eyes widen and deepen. The lids are smooth. The forehead soft. Releasing ears and nose. Whole head heavy. Beginning to invite the awareness back. And bring a soft or a gentle touch of awareness to the ally, the friend you've carried with you throughout the practice. And find movement in finger joints and then toe joints. Stretch arms up away from legs. Bending knees, make your way to one side. And from there, press into the floor and lift up to seated. Find that tall spine. Closing horizon line of the eyes, bringing hands together in this gesture of offering, and offering the sound of the Om out into the evening. Exhale everything. And take a deep breath in. And may the merits of this practice that we've done here tonight benefit all beings everywhere. Namaste.